Hi. So trying to get the angle right for these videos, and I'm experimenting, but I'm not sure about it. Anyway, today I'm going to make something I haven't made in ages, which is a vegan banana bread, which is what my son really loves. So I thought I'd give it another go. It's another Nigella Lawson recipe, which I've adapted. It's just like a normal cake, but the only thing that's un-vegan about it is the butter and the eggs. So I'm going to use vegan butter, and I'm going to make a flaxseed egg, 2 flaxseed eggs, because this recipe has 2 eggs. So I've got my flaxseed here. Milled flaxseed, needs to be milled. So the measurements are 1 tablespoon of flaxseed with 2.5 of water. That makes 1 egg. So we need 2 eggs, so we're going to go 2 of flaxseed and 5 tablespoons, maths, of water. I'm just going to pour that in and get my little mini whisk and whisk that up. This is the first thing I'm doing because whilst I'm getting the rest of the cake ready, this is going to swell up and sort of become a bit sort of gel, not like jellified, but kind of thicker anyway, and it will do its eggy impersonation for us. So I might even actually put it in the fridge. At the moment it just looks like leftover cereal in a bowl, which I guess it's kind of, you know, liquid and a cereal. It's kind of what it is. So I'm going to put this in the fridge and get started on the rest of the cake. Alrighty, so first thing we're going to do is mix in a bowl the flour and the bicarb and the baking powder and the salt. So we need 175, my fun weights, I've had these for years, I love them. 175, excuse the noise, right. 175 of flour. You could use gluten-free, and I used to, but I got complaints that it was too grainy, too sandy. But if I was making it for me, I would totally do gluten-free, because I don't really care about that sort of thing. About cake being sandy. Anyway, that's 175 of the flour. In that goes, and we're going to put 2 teaspoons of baking powder and half of bicarb and half of salt. Salt, very important ingredient in lots of sweet dishes. I often, in fact, when they say to use unsalted butter for a cake, I would use salted, because I really like salt, but I think in something like a cake or in anything sweet, it works really well. Let me get a spoon. We're just gonna mix those ingredients up so that they're all blended. The black cat from next door, the threatening presence that comes and terrorizes our cat, has just shown his face and leapt away. Anyway, now we're going to move on to, we've got the flour and all the powder sitting in a bowl. There's no way of me hiding this from you. Anyway, we're going to do 125 of butter which in a moment I'm going to melt. The actual, in the recipe book, the actual first stage of this is to soak these sultanas in rum. But typical Nigella, in her decadent ways, you know, having rum lying around the place and then draining it off. I always used to like put it in the cake. Like I didn't drain the sultanas, I just chucked the rum in there as well, and it was really nice. But no rum today. Times have changed, Nigella. We're too poor for this sort of thing. But the thing is it's a nice addition, but it's absolutely fine without the rum. So there we go. I'm gonna pop this into a saucepan and get it melting. And whilst that's melting on the hob, the butter, I'm gonna measure out the sugar, which is 150 grams. Now, I've got some healthy coconut sugar, and actually I might have enough. I just prefer to keep the cake as healthy as possible. Otherwise I might have to top it up with like normal process. Hey, there we go. Perfect. So we've got 150 grams of coconut sugar. It's just really unrefined and much better for you than the other stuff. Here we are. Oh, I forgot my bowl. Hang on. Okay. Big bowl for this. Got the melted butter in here. And the sugar. And we're gonna put them both into this big bowl, and I'm just put this back on the hob because it's hot. Don't want to burn the table. And mix it all up. And actually, the useful thing about there being no actual eggs in this is that normally you have to wait for the butter to cool down a little bit after melting, so that when you put the eggs in, they don't scramble. But it doesn't matter if you haven't actually got. Now you're supposed to beat or whisk this up until it combines, and actually it's kind of separated, but it doesn't matter because it's all gonna go right in a sec. Hi, this is so cool. Look, I've got the flaxseed here, flaxseed egg, and it's completely just like gone into one sort of congealed thing, which is great. So you're supposed to add one egg at a time. So I'm going to put half in and beat it in, and then the other half. I think because if you put them both in at the same time, it might curdle. This mixture of sugar and butter is completely split, but that's fine. Oh look, it's totally sorting itself out now. That's great. I'll just make sure that's all in, like that. And then the rest of it, that's like totally come together now. The rest of it can go in. It smells like the sugar is just a really flavorful sugar. It's not just sweet, it's kind of like burnt toffee or something, and with the butter, the melted butter, it's like this buttery burnt sugary smell, almost like cinder or something. Cinder toffee, you know what I mean. I'm thinking of like Guy Fawkes and November, and it's getting near that time, folks. Okay, now we're gonna add 4 very ripe bananas, or the weight of like 300 grams in weight without their skin, roughly. I had just under that, but it was just under. It's going to be fine. Mashed up with a fork. In there you go. For that, it's great that, you know, this The reason it's important for them to be so ripe and all mashed up is that it's very liquidy. So this whole cake is just so moist. It's really, really yummy. And it'll be gone in 2 seconds. I know it will, probably last a day. And that'll just be eaten by the boy. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract going in. It smells so good. Banana, vanilla, yum yum. And now we're gonna add 100 grams of sultanas, which haven't been soaked in rum. Also good to know that if you don't want alcohol in your cake, you don't have to. So, excuse me, mix that in, and 60 grams, that's right, of chopped pecan nuts. Nigella says walnuts, but I had pecans and I thought my son might prefer them, so in they go. You can kind of, well, I know baking is a bit more strict. You have to get the certain things correct, otherwise it just won't work. But things like that, you can play around with. Now I'm bringing back into the adventure my flour, salt, bicarbonate, baking powder, and I'm going to, I think I need to do this in thirds actually, just to make sure it all gets properly combined. Yes, it has been a while since I've made this, but I do. It's muscle memory. It's coming back to me now. Next third. In it goes. Ooh, piano's starting upstairs. I have a little jazz interlude. Okay. Make sure every bit, it's like adding milk to a white sauce or something. You want to make sure before you add the next bit that it's all completely incorporated, I think, so that it all properly combines. That is really coming together now. Oh, it smells so good. I wish you could smell it, honestly. That is just the most lovely looking thing. And that is going to go into a buttered and floured cake tin, which I will get right now. Hello. So what I'm doing is just rubbing the inside of this loaf tin with some butter. You could use greaseproof paper instead, but this is quite a good way of doing that without having to use any paper. And get the flour and just pour, oh gosh, too much, but that's okay. We're just gonna like tap the tin around so that it covers. It might get a bit messy, but it doesn't matter. It's what it's all about. It's supposed to get messy when you cook, as long as you're not disgusting, as long as you don't wipe your bum on the cake tin. Sorry. Okay, put the rest of the flour there, just because we don't need it. Excuse me. Right, now that's our floured and buttered tin. I've still got a bit extra. And now we're going to put in the cake mixture. This is so easy and quick, this recipe, you know. So I'll turn it the other way. It's a bit boring just seeing the bottom of a bowl. This is quite a thick cake, as in it's, yeah, it's going to be high and thick like a loaf. And to get it all out. I'm going to get my special thing. I just don't want to waste any, you know, because this could be another slice. We don't want people missing out on cake.
Okay, there we go. That is all now in successfully. I'm just gonna smooth the top over like that. And let's just get the rest off of the spoon. No looking spoons here. It's all going in the cake. And that
is going to go in the oven at 170 for 1¼ to about 1 hour to 1¼ hours. After an hour, take it out and put a skewer through it. And if the skewer comes out clean, it's done. I'm going to pop this in the oven. Okay, so the kitchen is just, in fact, the whole house is smelling like really just warm and cozy and cakey banana bready. So here it is. Look at the beautiful thing. It's still warm. I actually took it out of the oven just before an hour. I could smell it and I thought, smells like it might be ready. And lo, it was. Maybe it was like 50 minutes. It was in there for 50 minutes or something. So even though I said an hour, just everyone's ovens are different and everything. So just check. Go with your instinct, as always. Okay. So I left it to cool in the tin for about 20 minutes, and then I put it on this rack, and I've just walked to the shops and come back. So like 10 minutes. But I mean, you could leave it for longer, but it's still warm, and who doesn't love warm banana bread? So let's fry a slice. Look at that, it's perfect. It's not dense. It's totally moist and fluffy. My God, it's so good. Wow. I don't often eat cake. It's really nice. And actually, like, it's kind of got like a sugary crust. And then in the inside, it's really like juicy. You've got those plumped up sultanas as well. Look, it's plump. This is just so easy and really yummy and quite healthy. The flaxseed is really good for you, omega-3s. So, yeah, have a go.